Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
As we continue to work our way further into the beer league season, we find ourselves now in Brazelton, Georgia, where tonight we get set to kick off race number 10. Welcome to Green Flag TV and to the Peach State Pony Pursuit. My name is Ola Rempel alongside Austin Edstrom. Together, we are bringing you all of the coverage here tonight. From start to finish of this race from the home of the Petit Le Mans. It's not the Road Atlanta layout that we are so used to, Austin. It is the short layout, not the club layout. That layout can go burn in the dumpster fire for all I care. We're on the short layout where that beautiful SS is still very much intact.
They may be intact, but after last week, I'm having oval flashbacks looking at this track map. It looks a little bit too much like an oval for my liking after the treat that we were given last week. But hey, I'm happy to be at Road Atlanta virtually. I think this is going to be a much better showing than last week. I can say that with the utmost certainty.
It'll be a fun race indeed for everybody here tonight as we'll take a rundown of your point standings entering the racing action here tonight. You've got Giovanni Romano and Tyler Augustino still sitting about 20 points separated in the standings. Chris Hannigan, though, started to throw his hat into the ring. He is, about 25 points out now for the points, jumping up ahead of Eric Ronenberg, Austin Tucker, and Brian LeBlanc. So it could very well be a group of three, as you've still got four different teams inside of the top four and all separated by less than 30 points. With only 3 races left on the docket, that's not a lot with very little time for these drivers to make up any sort of ground on one another.
Yeah, but you got to look at Chris Hannigan, +3 last week, and had that race win that boosted him big time in the points, all the way up to where he's actually in, he's within reach of our championship leader of Giovanni Romano. So a great job from Chris Hannigan last weekend, bringing home that W and moving up 3 spots. I mean, that's huge this late in the season.
We look over to the teams championship next, and it's a change at the top as well with Team Tinnitus overtaking the Chicken Runners for that number 2 spot. Canvas Racing 40-ounce Fords and Zero Team 6 remaining where they're at with the 4th and 5th place teams now remaining tied for the number 4 spot. Flying Donuts, though, jumping up 2 ahead of Family Plan and then the Diabetics, and then, of course, Opel Gundam style getting ahead of It's Not a Mustang, It's a Clydesdale. So the teams championship has seen some moving around after that wild race at the Daytona International Speedway just 1 week ago, and I have a feeling this team's championship could pick up as well with, again, very much waning time on the clock here with these drivers trying to get themselves sorted for whatever spots they can muster.
Yeah, only 5 points separating the top 2 teams, and then even the race for third is really, really tight. I remember Zero Team 6 being well out of it, earlier in the season, and now they've kind of clawed their way back into that battle for P3.
So we overlook the Road Atlanta circuit from Brazelton, Georgia. It's 69 degrees Fahrenheit down on the track. It is it's a very cold track surface out there. I mean, I think that's got to be one of the coldest temperatures we've seen so far all season long. Combine that with the brake bias being adjusted to 58% for this race, means these cars are going to be loosey-goosey. Expect a lot of drivers more turn to the left than to the right when we swing around through that giant sweeping right-hand bend across the kink there, across the main circuit, to rejoin that back straightaway about halfway down.
Can't say I've ever watched a race at Road Atlanta. I'm looking forward to this one. I get to learn a little bit tonight. And now, to be fair, in practice, I was trying to learn a little bit. Didn't know much about the layout. And, let's just say there were a lot of shortcuts being taken by everybody I was watching. So I still have no idea what this track is going to look like whenever they go around it. I've just been seeing them taking it wrong this entire night. But I'm sure after the heats, because we might see that in the heats a little bit, to be honest. After the heats, I think we're going to get a really good showing here around Road Atlanta.
Few drivers still opted to put down some qualifying laps. Giovanni Romano, you saw rejoining, and he's actually taking the club layout of the racetrack, which, of course, bypasses the S's and goes with that little bit of a kink there. Thankfully, that is not the layout we are taking tonight, as that has been a track layout that has very much long since been ridiculed by everybody that has had the pain of having to drive through that corner. 20 seconds left on the clock, though, as we'll be looking to put things underway. Looking to me like we'll be getting 4 heat races here tonight. We are back to the usual format of your heats before your 55-minute main event once the heats set the grid.
Yeah, back to normal. That's what I like to hear. Love watching these guys tackle the road courses. It's been fun all year long. Haven't really had a a race I've really left too disappointed in. So I think we're in for a good one. I mean, this track just looks so beautiful too. Road Atlanta, great racetrack to just stare at from above like that. And I'm sure these guys are ready to get going here though in heat race number 1.
Qualifying is complete. Your starting grid for the opening heat race of the night looks a little something like this. Eric Ronenberg, Jeremy Castro lined up on the front row. Chris Hannigan and Ethan Kahn will be on row 2. Alex Harrison and Adam Klein will be on row 3. Tyler Vietnan and Giovanni Romano on row 4. Matt Glenn and Blake Gambrell round out the field as the lights flick on. Then the lights flick off. We are racing for Road Atlanta for the first time tonight.
Jeremy Castro got a really good jump there on the outside, able to take the race lead. Now Chris Hannigan looks to his inside, going down into turn number 1. That Sonic machine on the inside. Chris Hannigan, our race winner from last week, able to put it through to the lead on Jeremy Castro there.
Working up and in towards turn number 3 now. The field trying to cycle its way through as Hannigan leads the way from Castro from Ronenberg. The whole pack single file as we work down through the S's. In these cars, virtually flat out, but you're not making that hard right-hand turn, jumping on the binders. You're keeping it in the throttle as you rip it up on the right-hand corner all the way up and over the rise.
Good clean first lap, not typically what we're used to seeing here in the heat races, but everybody getting through just clean. Romano coming from the back of the pack to getting into P5 by the end of the first lap. Not too surprising. We typically see Romano absolutely tear the field up. So good job from him coming through the field. We know he'll probably drop back to the end. He likes starting at the back of these things, but Klein coming up the hill. Now the battle for seconds heating up between Castro and Ronenberg coming back to the start-finish.
Working across that start-finish stretch, see Hannigan power sliding it out up the road. Ronenberg right on the back bumper there. Jeremy Castro pokes out, dives on the brakes to the inside as we swing into turn number 1 for the second time. Then Castro off the road. Driver's left. He'll let Adam Klein through. Klein's got a huge run, trying to get around Ronenberg now in the run up to turn 3. That didn't go Adam Klein's way, so he'll tuck it back in line as we fire it back down the hill.
Castro had to get a little loose there at the top of the hill, and actually Romano had to take evasive maneuvers as we see Gambrell spun around into the tire barriers, coming back on the racetrack. Now Ronenberg through the P2 though. Adam Klein through the P3. Great aggressive move from him over the hill. Not quite able to get that move done for P2. Just fell back in line as we look back at Gambrell going into the tire barrier. Not too hard a contact, and the damage gets fixed right away anyway, so he'll be back on his way.
Alex Harrison having this spin as well. We mentioned how loose these cars would be up and over the hill, and well, Harrison just found that out the hard way, throwing his chicken runners machine into the barriers as he'll rejoin himself on the racing circuit. As here we go. Oh, trouble, Giovanni Romano. Oh, he's taking the drift layout. Go figure. We kind of thought he might be doing something like that, but well, there you go. So watching the battle for 6th here between Matt Glenn and Tyler Vietnan.
Going down into turn 1, final lap, last chance to kind of pick up some positions for that starting lineup there in the feature race. Vietnan all over the back bumper of Glenn, now going through the S section at the top of the hill. Not quite close enough to make a move.
Gambrell off the road again, down at turn 1. He will rejoin without making contact with anybody as now Adam Klein letting through. Oh, trouble, Ronenberg spinning it out. That's in the middle of the run up the hill. And that doesn't look like it'll cost him second. He's able to keep his foot in it, but Jeremy Castro closing in with a big head of steam. He's going to look for the inside and try to dive it up the inside into the final chicane. Not going to get there, though. Meanwhile, Chris Hannigan up through the Michelin Bridge. He'll fire it down the hill, and Chris Hannigan will be your Heat 1 winner to kick off racing action tonight from Road Atlanta.
And Ronenberg took a route that I did not even know existed.
He took the club layout.
Almost visited the moon there after bouncing off the wall. But now Gambrell coming through ahead of Harrison, ahead of Romano. Gonna get another free position up here on Ronenberg. Coming over the final little hump. Last corner to the start-finish line. Coming home 7th and 8th for Gambrell and Harrison.
Giovanni Romano looking to be joining Eric Ronenberg as they'll fire towards the club layout pit road, which works him more towards the paddock area. And they're in a grudge match. See who's going to finish last. Well, Romano's going to take the win on that one by retiring first. So that will be it then for heat race number 1. Or will it? The timer is still running, and I don't think iRacing has realized that neither of them intend on finishing this race, as both of them have taken toes to the pits. We are soft-locked at the moment. Did you think that was a possible? I didn't know that was an option, but yeah, we are very much soft locked right now.
Oh, it's back.
Oh, there we go. All right.
It just took forever for whatever reason.
Heat race number 1 results up on your screen as Hannigan takes the race win with that one. We'll move on down swiftly to the starting grid for heat race number 2. Austin Tucker, Tyler Augustino, first and second. Alan Kammeier, Brooks Clayton on row 2. Greg Beckman, Tanner Klein on row 3. Adam Joseph Mailhart and Alex Cofford on row 4. Barrett Morton, we saw him make his first Beer League debut down at Daytona. He will be joining us up starting this race from the last spot on the grid, and he's got his wheels turned all the way to the left. That's not ideal, and I don't think he's noticed that. We got a collision already as Tanner Klein getting into it with Mailhot near the back. The rest of the grid away clean as we fire towards turn 1.
Yeah, I don't even think Tanner Klein moved off the moved off the start of the race, and Cofford just ran into the back of him there on the initial start of heat race number 2. Cofford cycling up into 5th place at this moment as they're not side by side. They're through the S section of the racetrack, single file, as Austin Tucker leads Augustino.
The chicken runners number 243 firing it down the S as he'll work towards that giant right-hand sweeper, building up a sizable gap already. So good stuff there from Austin Tucker. Kammeier and Augustino, meanwhile, in the battle for second. The rest of the pack all packed up line astern. Augustino looks for the left. That'll be for the inside. Kammeier covers him off, and Augustino will back out. We're side by side between Clayton and Cofford just behind.
Clayton's going to win out in that fight for now, but Cofford's still hot on his heels, coming back over the last hump. Oh, looks to the inside there of Clayton going into the final corner. Oh, he just drives a little bit wide and takes out Clayton. Clayton taking the club route on the outside of the racetrack. Just got absolutely punted there from Cofford, and Cofford's in the outside wall too on the front straightaway.
I'm almost not surprised that Alex Cofford here, and it looks like he actually may have, he lost that one already and then just kicked the back end out, and I think he tried to have a bit more of an aggressive run than he did, and now Tanner Klein is off the road. So we've got more carnage down in the run towards turn 1.
Is that a bad rejoin?
Corner. Oh, no.
Nope.
Klein just lost by himself. Oh, that's a heavy hit into the wall.
What's that Cofford taking a shortcut? My goodness. Cofford always keeps it entertaining, even in heat races. But Tucker's still leading, got a 1.2 second lead over Augustino there in second place. Kammeier has not been able to mount another charge on Augustino through the second lap. Man, I thought Augustino was losing it under the braking zone there just a little bit. His back end was stepping out, going down to the final chicane, now coming through the final set of corners. Augustino still holding on to that P2 position as we take the white flag for heat race number 2.
That's what 58% brake bias looks like right there when the back end kicks out on the brakes. Tucker experimenting with a 2 wheels in the grass line in the lead of this heat race as we continue to watch this fight for second and third. Heating up on the final lap of heat number 2. Oh, a bit of a look there for Kammeier. Thought he might try to dive down the inside. Ended up not being able to get there. But Tyler Augustino could find himself on some pretty heavy fire here in the closing laps as he works down the hill, trying to keep a charger number 12 at bay.
Yeah, it seems Kammeier's just a little bit quicker, but he's not quite able to be quicker in the right sections of the racetrack. Now onto the long straightaway going down into the final chicane. Not quite close enough, I don't think. I don't think he's got enough draft, enough of a run here on Augustino to be able to make a move down into the final chicane. But somebody who is Mailhot taking the position on Morton. That's for P4. Beckman's trying to follow him through.
Beckman takes it down to the inside into the final chicane. Meanwhile, Austin Tucker works out of the final corner, and he will drive that number 243 across the line. Augustino and Kammeier finish 2 and 3. Bear Morton hangs on against Greg Beckman, and now Cofford making a run on Brooks Clayton, trying to go for 7th. Or is he? He's trying to hit. He is hitting pit road.
Well, I was about to say, same place they came together earlier. It looked like they were both giving each other plenty of room this time, obviously just because Cofford was coming down pit road, though.
You know what? I mean, it's a difficult pit road to get down, so considering Cofford usually throws these races anyway, that's not a bad call from Alex Cofford there to just try pit entry here while you got the chance. I mean, may as well if you're going to throw the heat race anyway. Oh,
yeah,
and Klein's back into the wall.
Instead of having fun with it today, he decided to put in a little bit of practice. Maybe he's taking it a little bit more serious this week, trying to bring home that W. Maybe he's a little bit more into it.
Now the Fuddruckers machine taking its pit road early at Tanner Klein. Will be the last driver to finish the race here. He'll close out the number 9 position. So heat number 2 can be up on your screen here with the race results. All drivers still finishing on the lead lap, although Beckman and Klein almost a minute off of the leaders at the end of this one. We'll run down swiftly to heat race 3, and this time by, it is Ron Wolf on pole alongside Evan Campbell, Chris Bright in 3rd, Gabriel Silly in 4th, Carson Catlin there by on row 3, Mac Verstappen and John Combs row 4, and Graham Jordan rounds out the 9-car field for our 3rd heat race.
Who's your favorite for the 3rd heat race? Who you got? Who you got your eye on?
Well, the heat race, the pole sitters for these heat races have actually gone off to a good start. We're 2 for 2 now. I'm going to go Ron Wolf for this one.
I'm going to pick that Cinnamon Toast Crunch machine there. Chris Bright in the back as the green lights go out. Taking off on the jump. Ron Wolf, big jump off the start. I mean, he is completely clear going out into turn 1. Bright had a pretty good restart to be able to get side by side with Campbell before they get to the corner. Aselian, though, looking at his inside, he's going to have to back off before they get to the center of the corner. As Chris Bright stays up in P3 with Evan Campbell hunting down our race leader of Ron Wolf.
You thought for a moment we might have some guy who's making an attempt to try to go 3 wide down the pit straight there as we work towards turn 1. Luckily, they decide probably not the smartest idea in the first lap of a heat race. As Campbell, Bright, Asilian running 2, 3, and 4. Gabriel Asilian, whoa, bobbles a bit mid-corner as he was trying to put Chris Bright under fire. Ron Wolf still holds just under half a second with the heat race lead.
Yep, Wolf going down to the final corner. Healthy lead over Campbell and Bright. Bright just kind of peeking his nose. Oh, further back, Combs gets into the back of Catlin right there. Coming through the final chicane now over to the final couple of corners on the lap. Thought there was going to be a little bit of a good bit of major contact there going into the final chicane, but they're able to keep that thing straight. Ron Wolf leads lap number 1 of heat race number 3.
At the end of lap 1, the only 9 cars on the track are packed up by less than 5 seconds. Closest heat race we've had so far as we continue to close things out. Oh, big trouble. Down in turn 1, Jordan's found the wall, and John Combs up the road has lost a lot of times. We've had a major crash down in the opening corner. Oh, Jordan looped. Oh, that was completely separate. So Jordan looped the back end, and Combs, I think, followed him with some good old target fixation.
Yeah, he followed him right off the racetrack. Combs, not his brightest moment there. Just got to follow in Jordan. We got a battle there for P2. Campbell's trying to hold on here from Bright, but it looks like Bright's going to be too much to handle going down to the final chicane. Out breaks the driver of the 71 there, and now he's under fire for 3rd. Gabriel Aselian looks to the inside in the final set of corners. He's got the preferred groove there on the inside of the racetrack. Can he hold it down to the bottom without getting pinched? It looks like Aselian's going to get a decent run, but Campbell gets a better one coming off the corner. He's going to be able to hold on to the spot down the front straightaway.
Diving in towards turn number 1. Campbell still hanging on to the number 3 spot. Asilian, though, really putting on that pressure. Looked for the inside of 3, got cut off. Pokes the nose out again, but still not able to find a hold. We are working down through the S's for the final time in this 3rd and second to last heat race here. Up front, Ron Wolf cleared by over a second. Looking like it was a smart move to make the pole sitter. That'd be 3 for 3.
Yeah, he's doing a good job filling away. I thought that maybe once Chris Bright got clear of Campbell, he was going to be able to kind of mend that gap and bring it down a little bit, but it just didn't seem to be able to happen as he's still losing a little bit of time. But Aselian, last-minute dive bomb there on Campbell, not quite able to make it stick. Wasn't able to get to the apex there before Campbell, but it looks like it's going to be Ron Wolf coming over to the last corner. He's going to win heat race number 3.
Ron Wolf takes the win in the 3rd heat race of the evening. Everybody else filing across the line. Here comes John Combs, and Intel Mac Verstappen runs back in 7th. He was the last car really up to speed with these guys, and then just behind Carson Catlin, and then Graham Jordan will be taking up the rear. He closes out our finishers with heat race number 3, and so far, I think that's got to be the cleanest heat race we have seen so far. Results for heat race 3 up on your screen as we'll start to look further forward into heat race 4. This will be the last heat race of the evening before we'll kick things off for main event action And it is Josh Freed on the pole, Tyler Carlton in second, Corey Barrett third, Jason L. in fourth, Brian LeBlanc is in fifth, Tom Middle sixth, Nathan Cookingham in seventh, and then, of course, he got that 96 car down in eighth, and then Jordan Babcock rounds out the top 9.
That might have been the cleanest heat all season. I mean, we had, what, one incident there? And it was just a single car thing off?
Pretty much, yeah. Way off at turn 1.
That might have been the cleanest one all year.
We'll continue to sort things out here as this field going to get itself packed up and sorted. Josh Freed will be looking to take home the fourth heat race and make it pole sitter lockout for the heats here. But there's a ways to go yet before you can get to that point, as we'll let the lights flick on. Here we go. Good launch from the 9th place starter, Jordan Babcock, and immediately tried to get around the 96. And whoa, boy, LeBlanc jumping to the front. How about Tyler Carlton being put under fire by Jason L. Up into the lead. He started in 4th, and he's up off the track immediately at turn 1. Throws an amazing start away, and he'll go from 4th to 1st to 9th before the end of turn 3.
Oh, that's so depressing if you're Jason L. Did a great job on the initial start, being able to jump up into the race lead and just immediately drives it off the racetrack. It's great. I love it. These race starts are absolutely insane. We saw Josh Freed finally. It looks like the pole sitter's not going to win the heat race because Josh Freed had an absolutely terrible start there for heat race number 4. I mean, did not even get going off the line, and he got overtaken left and right, dropped all the way back to 5th or 6th place, able to work his way back up to 4th. Part of that's because Jason L. went straight off the racetrack, but still he got another spot back as he loses another one there to Barrett. Just mega dive bomb into the final chicane there from Barrett.
Yeah, Corey Barrett making a huge lunge in the Lucky Charms Mustang. He'll now poke to the inside of Todd Madole into the final corner. That's a bit of a pinch there. And just running it off. Whoa, way off the circuit behind Jordan Babcock. Nathan Cookingham, by the way, taking his car into pit road. He is opting out of this final heat race. We start lap 2 of 3. Madole, Barrett still packed up, line astern just behind them. Josh Freed trying to regain lost ground.
Yeah, Freed still got to be kicking himself, and he just lost another position. He's got to be so frustrated starting on pole and just dropping all the way back like this, as it looks like Madole and Barrett have kind of solidified their positions here in 3rd and 4th. Barrett maybe will get under fire for Freed here down the front or down the back straightaway. He is under firing distance now. He's in the slipstream, but he gets a little loose, goes off onto the grass. Josh Freed's going to lose his momentum, not going to be able to challenge Barrett this lap.
The rest of the pack doing a fine job of sticking with this battle here. We'll start the final trip in heat racing action. Freed again, bobbling up over the rise. As we work down the hill, Carlton takes the white flag. 1 lap to go. And you've still got the top 5 packed up by only 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say, Carlton has not really pulled away very much. I mean, Brian LeBlanc is still right there. He's within firing distance on this last lap. I mean, he can just taste it. He sees him right in front of him, less than 0.6 of a second. That's manageable. You can make that happen. Brian LeBlanc trying to run down Carlton right there.
The 40-ounce Ford's machine trying to see if he can't put himself further up in a racing action, working through that long right-hand sweeper for the final time. As he powers off down the backstretch into the chicane. Brian LeBlanc lost about 0.2 through that corner. That might be game over. Freed making a move on Barrett in the back, but Tyler Carlton will be the final heat race winner of the night as he'll take that one across start finish.
Oh, and Josh Freed's under fire from Jay DeVries going into the final corner. They're side by side for P5. It looks like it's going to be Freed to the line as DeVries just pounds the inside fence.
And that is it then for heat racing action here tonight from Road Atlanta, as we're going to kick things off. And, well, in a minute, once Nathan Cookingham is registered to cross the line, we'll get things underway. And we may be waiting as well on, well, we're not waiting on Jordan Babcock. He's across the line. Who are we waiting on? We're waiting on Cookingham, who just crossed the line this time by. So, heat race number 4 going to be up on your screens. And with that, we will take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like when we go racing for a very thrilling bout of racing action here tonight. Started on the pole for 55 laps, it'll be Chris Hannigan alongside Austin Tucker. Ron Wolf will be down in the number 3 spot with Tyler Carlton in 4th. Those were all your heat race winners. Jeremy Castro is in 5th with Tyler Augustino in 6th. Chris Bright was 7th with Brian LeBlanc in 8th. Adam Klein is in 9th with Alan Kemmeyer in 10th. Evan Campbell 11th. Tom Adole rounds out the top 6. Moving down, the top 6 rows, I should say. Moving down to the field, Ethan Kahn and Adam Joseph Elhott going to be on row 7. Row 8 holds Gabriel Asilian and Corey Barrett. Matt Glenn and Bear Morton on row 9, Darren Bai and Josh Freed on row 10. Tyler Veenan and Brooks Clayton on row 11, John Combs and DeVries on row number 12. You'll have the likes of Gambrill and Cofford on row 13, Mac Versteuben and Jason L on row 14. Top 30 is finished out by Alex Harrison and Greg Beckman. Carson Catlin and Jordan Babcock are 31st and 32nd. From there, you'll have Eric Ronenberg, Tanner Klein, Graham Jordan, Nathan Cookingham, and way at the back of the field, Giovanni Romano brings up the rear down in 37th. So that is it then. All drivers just about gridded on up, waiting on a few where we kick main event racing action off from Braselton, Georgia.
Oh, it feels so good to have these cars back on the road course. I can't wait to get this one started. The Peach State Pony Pursuit here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, not quite Atlanta, Georgia, but you know, road Atlanta, we're close enough.
Braselton.
We can just call it the city that has Road Atlanta in it.
Fair enough. That works for me. The home of the
That might
Petit
be all
Lamar.
I remember. Yeah, there you go. That's perfectly fine, too. Chris Hannigan, though, backing up his race win from last week. Starting on pole for the main event right here, getting ready to go green.
Lights are out. We are underway already. We've got Brooks Clayton off into the grass way in the background. He'll get himself sorted as this field thunders down. 37 cars packed up line astern as we run in towards turn number 1. Hannigan maintains the lead. Tucker trying to pick up second. Tucker's off into the grass on the left-hand side. Hill is 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, possibly down to 7th. 3 wide in towards turn number 3. That ain't gonna work. Some cars cutting across the grass. You've got some melee going on in the background here is everybody trying to get themselves sorted. And looking like that might be it now for everybody else in this deal as we'll work our way back around. Chris Hannigan continues to lead this race while it is an absolute madhouse from about 8th on back.
Hey, this is honestly such a tight racetrack to be able to fit 37 of these Ford Mustangs on it, and we saw it through the S's section on the opening lap. I mean, there was just no room for anybody to go anywhere as Carlton's trying to hold on to P2 there from Ron Wolf. Couldn't quite tell if he was able to do it. I believe that's LeBlanc who's fallen all the way back now off the racetrack back into 15th place as they're still making contact right in front of him. He's getting door slammed up to the final last corner.
Starting lap number 2, Hannigan led the first lap to green. The rest of the pack dives it down and in trouble in the background. Cookingham has been spun off, and he's not the only one. We got a pile up at the top of the hill as that is Brooks Clayton, I do believe. Cookingham and Moore all collected a massive wreck over at the top of the hill. We got Brian LeBlanc off again. That is working down towards turn 3 now. Copper trying to make a move around the outside line to pick up some spots, and now he's side-by-side with the S's, which that is always a choice, as I always say. Oh, and more trouble. Oh, that's not good. Backing up in the field, the 45 going to get clothesline, and so will many others as we rocket away, and there's just too much to keep eyes on at the moment.
I was trying to hold back the laughter, but that was just hilarious seeing one of the cannabis racing machines kind of get clobbered there in the middle of the racetrack, go spinning like a top. Giovanni Romano, though, week in, week out, at every road course, he starts at the back and somehow misses every little bit of carnage. I don't understand how he can miss it every single time. He never gets involved in somebody else's stuff here on the opening laps, and he's able to work all the way up into the top 15 by the time that we complete lap 2.
Ethan Kahn off the racetrack, drivers left, looking like just slowing to let some of these guys through, wanting nothing to do with whatever chaos is going on up here. Contact between Asilian and Castro as Castro barges by for 5th, and Adam Joseph Mailhot is off at turn 1, way in hot. Looking like he'll rejoin, though, again, without too much. Okay, well, now Graham Jordan and Moore all going around. And this is all before you even got a chance to look at what happened at the top of the hill on lap number 1, keep in mind. One thing happens, and everybody else just starts to have their own little bouts of mess, and it makes it impossible to look back and figure out what happened anywhere. Verstappen, Agostino Romano looking to make good moves. Matt Verstappen, this is one of the highest running positions he's had all season long.
Good jinx there, buddy. They've been getting on to me for that. I try to help the guy. I try to give him words of encouragement. And as soon as you say something, we're gonna have to watch because we've been announcer jinxing just about everything.
Right there
Right
almost
in front
was
of him,
one.
Campbell went around, and then Verstappen actually pushes off Agostino at the top of the hill, keeps position over him. Verstappen up to P11 with that accident that happened right in his windshield, but it looks like Romano's coming. I mean, Romano is absolutely flying. Now LeBlanc trying to make it 3 wide, not able to do it as Romano blocks off the inside groove. Looks like he's going to take that position away. That's P12 there from Chris Bright.
Ay. This is quickly kicking off, isn't it? As we're already 4 minutes, 4 laps deep. The lap times out here are hovering right around a minute. Qualifying times we're seeing sometimes as low as 58 seconds, all the way up to about 1:04. So we may even get more laps than we have minutes here. Not something that's happened all too much so far this season. Of course, that depends if we get a safety car, which the chance is always high. Save for that one race where we got absolutely no safety cars, of which there's only about a 2% chance of that ever happening. So it's unlikely that will happen again. Romano trying to fend off both Verstappen and Chris Bright down into the chicane.
Yep, Romano picking off another position there from Verstappen. Chris Bright able to follow him through, drops Verstappen back to the P13 position, and he's got a rear windshield, just full view there of, that was Brian LeBlanc coming down the hill into the start-finish line. LeBlanc's looking to take that position away from Mack, going down on the front straightaway. Looks to the inside of Mack going into turn 1. Tries to peek his nose in there. Maybe takes a little bit too much curve. Almost skates out into the side of the Arby's machine. No contact, though, as they go down into the S's section of the racetrack. Verstappen holding the outside here through the second corner. Able to hold on to the position. Mack Verstappen, good defensive driving there through the S's.
5 minutes in, so the safety car safety period has officially been called over. Now we can get up to 2 randomized yellow flags anywhere from now until 10 minutes to go. Now this is where all the uncertainty starts to come in, but I don't think Brian LeBlanc's thinking about that, though. I think he's focused on trying to get around Verstappen up the road. He's got L along with Agostino really pressure from behind. LeBlanc steals that one away as Matt Verstappen falling back to some of these guys here, and Agostino now trying to look around the top as they bobbled a bit, allowing that Arby's machine a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Jason L got stalled out right behind Mack Verstappen there on the back straightaway. Agostino was able to duck down to his inside, still holding that position next to Jason L. Actually takes it before they get down into turn number 1. Move Agostino up to 15th place. Now Jason L and Morton are side by side as Morton goes off the racetrack, and so does Verstappen up ahead. Loses multiple positions for both those guys. Verstappen was able to hold on to it a little bit better, only dropping back to 14th as LeBlanc is through. Now Jason L all over the back bumper there of the Arby's machine.
And all while this is going on, we've had a few more incidents further to the back. This is Corey Barrett, the Lucky Charms machine, having a bit of an off towards the rear, so I ripped the front bumper off, but otherwise, nothing too big to worry about there. And whoa, boy, Ronenberg nearly running over a Celia as a Cannabis Racing teammate behind of Alan Kameyer gets bullied out by Coffer, and Tom Adol goes through as well. So Kameyer goes from hero to zero, slipping back, and we'll have to let through Giovanni Romano as well. By the way, the top 2 still packed up by a third of a second.
Yeah, tight battling here between Chris Hannigan and Ron Wolf. I mean, not letting either of them get away. And Austin Tucker's right there also. He's not too far back in P3, only 1 second behind. He's actually caught up all second just this lap, so Tucker's running really, really quick lap times, being able to catch our front 2 right here. So we've still got a hard battle. Agostino, Jason L, Harrison, Mack Verstappen, almost 4 wide, almost going into the S's. Oh, there's contact! Harrison goes around. Looks like L and Verstappen are able to hold on to it. Verstappen in the grass just a little bit. But that's going to stink for Harrison. He's gone all the way to the back of that pack now as Jason L is trying to make the move on Agostino around the outside. They're about to get up to that long sweeping right-hand corner back onto the back straightaway. But Jason L able to edge him out just barely before they get there, able to take the racing line. Jason L still holding on to that 14th place.
We'll try to get a look on what happened way back on lap number 1. Now, you'll have to bear with us here because this might be a bit of a ride here. This was down into the chicane and working up and over the hill further towards the back of the pack. And this, again, this is a while ago now, so this all kicked off. Right there is where it all got started, and this resulted in a mighty stack up underneath the bridge. And look at everybody just flying in, getting piled up. It was a messy, messy situation on the backstretch there. We'll try to find the other major pilots that we've had so far in this race as well. I believe we might have one with Greg Beckman.
Him going down into turn number 1 here. Oh, man. Kind of comes down, kind of gets ran up on a little bit through the exit of turn 1. Just got spun right around there. Oh, but our race leader, Chris Hannigan's off the racetrack. Oh, and they're still side by side for the race lead. Wolf and Tucker now. Austin Tucker goes from 3rd to 1st on the inside groove, but it looks like Wolf is going to get that run on the outside coming out of the final corner, and Tucker's just going to have to settle for P2 right now, but big mistake there from Chris Hannigan.
And that's what happens whenever we try to go back and take a look at what on earth happened to try to actually unpack something in this series, as here's Chris Hannigan losing the lead, just too wide. Good correction and a great save from Hannigan to get that sorted. Ron Wolf maintains the lead. Tucker got loose into turn 3. Let's Hannigan back through to the number 2 spot. So Ron Wolf on a good lunge right now as he'll continue to work with these guys in the battle for the lead.
It'll be interesting to see what Hannigan can do with this draft down the back straightaway. He's well within slipstream range at this point. He got a decent run down. Looking at Ron Wolf down into the final chicane. Not going to be able to get close enough, though. Really did not have the run that I thought he'd be able to get. Deep on the brakes, closes up the gap just a little bit, but it looks like Ron Wolf's going to be safe.
Ron Wolf is safe. Everybody else still trying to, well, is he safe, though? Because here comes Hannigan now with a big head of steam through that final corner, right to the back bumper, trying to make that one around the outside here, going for the race lead, down into turn 1. That's a bold move to pull that one around the top, and he'll get it done, though. Chris Hannigan back to the point.
That was a ridiculous move through the final corner. I haven't watched a lot of races at Road Atlanta, but I can tell you, you don't pass on the outside of the final corner like that unless the guy in front of you is crawling. Hell of a move there from Chris Hannigan to be able to hang it around the outside 2 consecutive corners like that. Get the move done on race leader Ron Wolf. Hannigan had made the mistake earlier. As we look back at another incident, the 72.
And then seconds after, the 666 of Carson Catlin having a moment of his own as this was down the hill through the S's. And I'm willing to bet lost it in the sweeper here. Yes, sir. Oh, hard into where the wall juts out. And now Tanner Klein having an off-track excursion. This was in the chicane. And more.
Oh, my goodness. Everybody's running off the racetrack.
It's that time of the afternoon. Oh, he had some help, too. Oh, well, more he helped himself, but Lucky Charms and Applejacks getting into it. Now Alex Harrison and more getting, what is going on? I'm getting crash reports left, right, front, and center. Blake Gamble has just come to a stop again somewhere on the racetrack. Here's Harrison first, and then we'll move to a happen to DeVries as, contact through the S's, and coming back on. Yep, there you go. Oh, and actually that was what happened to DeVries as well in the 96.
Oh, man, again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the S's have been giving people a lot of troubles. The long sweeping right, I think, has been a problem spot, and the S's have definitely been a problem spot. I mean, it just seems like every time we see a group of cars go through the S's, we're seeing contact at this point. Yeah, Kameyer and Bright side by side. Luckily, no contact yet. Looks like they're going to get through their clean and be able to get over to the back straightaway. I get worried every time, man. Every time I see them go through the S's side by side, I'm just worried for their safety. I mean, it just seems like they're crashing every single time, but Chris Bright kind of stuck on the inside here. Klein on the outside, just kind of pushing Kameyer through a little bit, but they make contact on the apex, and there's Chris Bright going around into the grass, able to hold on to it, but drops a handful of spots.
Battle for 7th, picking up as well. Gabriel Asilian under fire by Giovanni Romano. You've got Tom Adol just behind as well. Romano pokes to the inside into turn 1. You've been able to carry some good momentum around the outside if you can arc it in. Bit of contact, door to door that time by as Romano still applying the pressure to the back end of that number 87 car. Will he take the inside of the 3? He does, and give 7th to the Porsche Mission R Mustang.
Yeah, Celian put up a good fight there, but that's Giovanni Romano. He's going to be coming through. I mean, he is just, oh man,
well.
contact between Celian and Madole. Oh, through the exit of the S's. Go figure. Todd Madole gets crashed into the outside wall there. Tough break for Madole. I mean, he was running up in P8, making a challenge for P8, now drops all the way back to P14.
And that's a very fast corner too, right? So you can't get up to speed. That's why he lost so many spots. That's one of the worst places to come to a near stop because it takes so much time to get the momentum back that you're likely to lose a lot more spots than at any other point on this race course. Second and third starting to pick it up as well. Ron Wolf and Austin Tucker starting to do battle.
Yeah, the front three have just not been able to separate themselves from one another. I mean, I'm kind of surprised because we've seen two different leaders. You would expect maybe one of them would just be outright faster. We've seen them swap the lead back and forth. Even Austin Tucker moving up into second place at one point, but nobody in the lead's able to pull away. I don't think that the draft is big enough around here to really play that big of a hand to kind of keep them this close, but the top three are just nose to tail, not giving each other any room to breathe, just making sure if there's a mistake, they're there to capitalize.
Looking back on the battle for ninth, Adam Klein, Alan Kameyer, Brian oh boy, as I say that, Mac Verstappen way off the road. He and Tanner, where's Tanner Klein now? Because I'm showing Tanner Klein had another moment, and that's something completely different because they are on opposite ends of the race course right now. Oh, LeBlanc getting around Kameyer. That was into the chicane for 10th.
I was worried he was going to give it right back. It looked like he ran a little wide going up the hill. Able to keep it on the racetrack, though. Able to keep that top 10 position. LeBlanc had a rough couple first laps. Off the racetrack a handful of times. Able to right the ship, though, up into P10 at this point of the race. Good job there from LeBlanc, but someone doing a little bit better is Giovanni Romano. I mean, my goodness, he's come all the way from the back of the pack up to 8th place. Has a lot of clean air right now, also 4 seconds to the car in front. So interested to just kind of see the gap that Romano has right now, only 19 seconds behind the race leader. I'd be interested to see if that thing kind of starts inching down here as he's got a little bit of clean air and not having to fight anybody.
Verstappen in another battle. He's been slipping a bit further back over the last 10 minutes or so. He's just let Josh Freed through. The driver that started on pole in this heat and ended up further back. Meanwhile, oh, here we go. 3 wide and almost contact. Adam Klein nearly getting put into the wall as Kameyer looks to the inside of LeBlanc on a big battle for the number 9 spot down to the final chicane. And LeBlanc sweeps through. Kameyer and Klein, though, trying to both battle back.
This is a good move from LeBlanc, but it looks like Klein's got a better run on the inside of the racetrack. Can he get to the inside of LeBlanc through the last corner? He's down to the inside. He slides out into LeBlanc, and he turns himself into the outside wall at the start-finish line. Nowhere for Combs to go. Big accident. And Madole, innocent bystander, Todd Madole gets taken out once again.
Oh, we might not be done yet. Here comes Josh Freed and more, so heads up. It looks like Klein will stop that one off the racing circuit and find a gap to spin himself around and get through. Oh, Jason L now tanking into the wall. He's had a major problem.
Again, through the S's on the exit here. Just catches a little bit too much curb and goes head on into the tire barriers there on the inside wall. Tough break there from Jason L. Just catching too much curb. Just popped him up off the racetrack a little bit. A little too bouncy on the landing and just was not able to keep that car under control as we got another spin. Clayton gets turned off the front bumper of the Fruity Pebbles machine. And Cookingham files in as well. Just accident after accident here through the field. That was Ethan Kahn.
If you want to find your car, on the Green Flag TV broadcast tonight, take a number. The concrete or the tire walls will be paying you a visit in short order. Seems to be the attitude tonight has everybody trying to duke it out of the moment. Jordan Babcock, Tyler Vian, and Adam Joseph Mailhot running side by side as well. And oh boy, here we go. Matt Glenn also trying to throw his hat into the ring. Round the outside, the 74 off the circuit. He'll try to get himself resorted as Babcock will let Vienen through on the inside. And oh, now off the track will go Jordan Babcock.
No good deed goes unpunished. He was given to the position and still ran off the racetrack. Couldn't tell you how many times I've done that. I mean, my goodness, it's embarrassing, but unfortunate there that we just kind of saw it there from Glenn coming back through turn 1. But now one of the race leaders finally pitting. Austin Tucker to pit lane. They were starting to separate up at the front of the racetrack. The top three had kind of separated themselves a little bit, but now Chris Hannigan stuck in traffic. I think Austin Tucker played a little bit of a strategy there, or a strategy move there, seeing how much traffic was ahead of Hannigan, decided to duck down pit road.
It's never a bad call, right? I mean, sometimes it's worth it to pit earlier, even if you know you're faster, just to avoid being held up by traffic, because then you can make up that time when you're in clean air. But you also have to weigh how much traffic is going to be on the racetrack when you leave pit road. That's ultimately a big factor, as Adam Joseph Milhot having a spin. That would have been out of the final chicane there, so no real problems at that point in time. Evan Campbell, oh boy, this is down at the turn one. Oh, he's been hit by Morton and has nosed it hard into the fence.
Yeah, going back to what you were talking about with the kind of blending back in traffic, you know, if we were, if any of these guys had an F1 team behind them, they'd be able to get that kind of detailed information exactly where they'd blend back onto the racetrack to make sure they didn't have any traffic to deal with. But unfortunately, nobody here has millions and millions of dollars to back a team like that. So you just kind of have to risk it.
Well, you say that.
Are you about to tell me somebody in here is a multimillionaire?
No, I was going to say, I mean, there are software apps out there that do actually tell you that. Usually not through actual verbal communications, but for example, like SDK, the timing software that we use, as a driver, you can actually still have it up, just like how we have your session timer, timing tower, whole kit and caboodle. You've also got this beautiful thing called a track map. Bottom left, bottom right of the screen. You can see the 22 is highlighted right there. That is the 22nd place driver. Usually that driver in green, that'd be you. The car you're driving, so you're able to see right where everybody is, where all the packs are. So you know if it's a good time to come down a pit if there's a batch of clean air you could file out into.
That's true, but what are the odds that maybe you file right into the middle of that big group instead of right behind it or right in front of it? I feel like
reward.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a little bit of risk to it because you don't know maybe exactly how much time it would take you in pit road. It'd take a lot of practice to figure out exactly how much time it takes to come down pit road, how much time you lose on the racetrack, and then mapping out where that would be on the track map. It would be a lot of work, definitely doable though. So I mean, you're absolutely right. I feel like that's something you can definitely do to give yourself an advantage over the field, but that's a tall ask.
Chris Bry making his way into pit road. It's a very squiggly pit entry, and it's like that by design, right, to help slow these cars down because you're in a downhill braking zone in a corner, so you can't use too much brake. They give you a lot of straight there, and then they kind of jerk it around a bit when you're trying to enter pit road, just so you can have that bit of an extra gap to get in, as Castro and Klein both having it off, and they may have had it coming together here as whoa, boy, well, there goes Castro. Whoa, Romano just able to avoid that, and looking like Klein having his off, completely unrelated.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't even see him there in that entire cut, and then all of a sudden Castro just comes up on him on the exit of the corner there, but Castro kind of tough for him running in the top five. Yeah, we see Adam Klein slow through the S's.
And it's saying that he's crashed at some point. Okay. Well, he's taking the main layout. I think he's also done for the night. Wrong way. He might be on endurance racing clocks here. Crawford to the inside of Madol.
Yep, going into the final. Oh my goodness, sorry. Final chicane. Crawford up to P11. I'm a little sick, so forgive me. But Crawford up to P11, top Madol back to P12. Good fight here for that 11th spot. Not quite sure what they're going to cycle out after everybody pits. I believe both these guys. Sorry, I don't think Madol's come down, but I think Crawford has come down pit lane.
You are
so
correct.
Crawford might cycle a little bit higher.
Yeah, Crawford has come down. He pit about 3 laps ago. Look out as boy Madol having a bit of a scare. And how's this for a big mess? And you got one spinner in this one too. You got 2 spinners, multiple cars going around. As I believe that to be Evan Campbell stopped at the back of the track. And oh wow, okay, well that is one of the 40-ounce Ford machines that it was trying to redress. And that's one thing that the Beerly has put into play, right? If you wreck somebody and you know it was your fault, just slow down. Give the spot back. We won't have a problem. That's the traditional way. Stopping on the racing line to give that spot back is a choice, but I guess it gets the job done.
That was definitely a little sketchy. But, you know, if I was the race leaders, I'd be a little nervous right now because a lot of guys have come down and pit already. And if a caution does come out, if that bot strikes, they're going to have to start behind every single person that has already come down pit road. I imagine this is automatically a 2-stop with how early a lot of these guys pitted. So I'm a little curious with a lot of these guys staying out as we see Carlton come down from the 14th place spot. Madol also in from 13th. I don't know. I just think it's a little curious to see these guys running a stint so long.
They might be hoping that they can actually get a caution, right? Because that way there's a solid chance that if it comes out at the right point, they'll be able to come down to pit road while a good chunk of this field is continuing to just catch up with the pace car and exit without losing too many spots. It's something that's happened before. Of course, usually it helps when they don't close pit road for the first lap, of course, guaranteed.
Yeah, I guess you're just kind of risking it there, right? If they close the pit road, then it's not really any good for you. It also just depends on where the race leader is at on the track whenever the caution comes out, right? Because if they get picked up by the pace car coming into one, it gives everybody else plenty of time to catch up. But if it's, they got to catch the pace car, then they have absolutely no time to catch up. And that would probably be whenever they need to close it for a lap, just to give everybody that opportunity. But multiple drivers coming back down pit road. Acelia and LeBlanc both down. Ronenberg coming out of his pit stall right now, trying to rejoin the racetrack. Acelia also in.
At this point, we're seeing the end of the fuel window. So this is when a lot of drivers now are forced to come down to pit road just so they can make sure that they can continue to race this one on the field. You really can't stay out any longer than this as Ronenberg loses out to Jason L. as he had just left pit road. We are waiting on Romano, Augustino, and in fact, Jason L, the driver we're looking at right now, and then Alex Harrison to come down to pit. Everybody else has already been in at least once. There's a few cars we're waiting on, but otherwise, for the most part, everybody's already come down and made their stops.
I think Romano's trying to do that strategy crap again where he one stops whenever everybody else two stops. Because, I mean, that man can save fuel like nobody else, it seems like. And it looks like he's extended this as long as possible. I mean, this is a 55-minute race.
Well,
halfway is going to be 27 and a half. So he's getting pretty close.
I was going to say, I mean, that's a big ask, though, to stretch out a good 3-4 minutes longer than everybody else. Because remember, that's about 3 to 4 laps. It's very difficult with these cars to save that much fuel. I think
we've seen them, man.
Well, the way he'd be able to do that, I would think, is if he was like putting the clutch and all the way down the hill. But he is losing a lot of time doing that if that's what he is doing, and I don't think it'd be worth it.
And I don't think he's losing time, so I don't think he's doing it.
Side by side between Josh Freed and Matt Glenn. Glenn off the road. That'll be a slowdown penalty for cutting the course as he'll try to take that one around the outside of Freed. And, well, for a slowdown penalty, he's doing a whole lot of speeding and not a lot of slowing. Verstappen by, and De Vries all tucked in line of stern as well.
Tight racing through the last little section of the racetrack. They're all a lap down with Austin Tucker in the middle. That's basically our race leader. That's our net race leader after all the pit stops, unless Romano just completely pulls the best fuel mileage I've ever seen in my life out of his behind. But I don't know. I'm still kind of betting that that's what he's going for. I mean, we're at 29 and a half. And if he can make it one more lap, he can do this.
Carson Catlin is out. He couldn't make it around. So he is putting the clutch in right now, just trying to make it to pit road. But, I mean, you go in car, there's no life in that machine. So that is why we are seeing Catlin here slowing. And, whoa, boy, he had already looped the back end as well coming off of the hill, which is why, again, he was so slow. So that's another hand to play. And all. He actually may not have been out, you know. He may have been just trying to get it into the – oh, well, he is retired, actually. He is out of the car. So Catlin calling it quits. Here comes Romano in a pit road, and I don't think he's going to have enough to make it on a one-stop yet.
Ooh,
maybe a splash and go, but not a one-stop.
He was a minute short from making it halfway. So he would have to save more on the second stint than he did the first stint, but it's not too much, I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess it's a net, like, 2, right, because he did one less this stint and he'll have to do one more next, so it's like a net of 2 laps or 2 minutes. But I don't know. It'll be close. That'll be something we got to keep our eye on towards the end of this one.
Tucker and Coffer battling it out through lap traffic. De Vries trying to split them up the middle to unlap himself as we work. Oh, and Coffer being punted off by lap traffic. Now, lap cars, they are allowed to fight to get their laps back, but not even shoving the leaders off the racetrack, especially when they're battling it out for a race win of their own right.
Yeah, both these guys are going down pit road, so this is the battle for the net race lead. You can't just bulldoze one of our race leaders like that through the S's. Unfortunate for Crawford, but able to rejoin right behind Austin Tucker now to the back straightaway. Long downhill section where you can just get a really good tow from the driver in front, and Crawford is well within that gap, within 0.3 of a second, but I think he's going to run out of straightaway unless he just dives it really deep on the brakes, chooses not to into the final chicane. He's just going to hold on to that second place spot right now.
17 cars remain on the lead lap at the moment. Now remember, Crawford and Tucker They both pitted at least 4 laps sooner than everybody else. In some cases, they pitted almost 10 laps sooner than everybody else. So they are way off cycle compared to the rest of this field here. Crawford to the inside of Tucker. He'll pick up the lead of the Fuddruckers Mustang as he'll work through turn 1. Tucker looking to fight back, though, up to turn 3.
Crawford still side by side with Tucker through the S's, able to edge out Austin Tucker, just barely coming out of the S's. Super tight racing between the 2 leaders. Hannigan 2.5 seconds off. Got to wonder what's going on through or from Chris Hannigan losing that much time on to our 2 race leaders. He was ahead of Austin Tucker before Tucker came down pit road, but he did that little bit of a short stop. Crawford followed him in not too long after that and put Alex Crawford at the top of the board.
You want to know what it was? It was fuel. Crawford and Tucker were only in the box for 15, 14 seconds because they pit so much sooner. They didn't have to put as much fuel in the car. That's why they were in pit road for 3 seconds less than Hannigan was.
My goodness, and that can make all the difference because Austin Tucker was, I think, only a 1.5 seconds back from Chris Hannigan at the time of pit stops. And I imagine he came out in a little bit less traffic than Hannigan had to deal with. So he's able to jump, leapfrog Chris Hannigan there, as Chris Hannigan actually coming down pit road right now, taking his last pit stop. So you got to think he's just doing that exact kind of opposite strategy, just taking a splash of fuel right here to get him to the end. So this should be a really, really short pit stop from the Sonic machine.
Well, that's what I was going to mention as well, right? Because while, yes, Crawford and Tucker, they had the shorter pit stop on the first stint, they're going to be longer than everybody else on the second stint because they're going to have to put more fuel in the car, whereas everybody else is going to be making more of a splash and go. So that could be a big difference as well. Baron Morton having an awful lookout as another car working their way through. But, yeah, that's it's an interesting call as we look at what happened to the 9. Or the 6, excuse me. Oh, some help with the Cannabis Racing machine of the number 74.
And I got to think for Chris Hannigan, this might be that strategy play with the caution car. Because if the pace car comes out, caution flag flies, then Chris Hannigan won't have to come down pit road. And everybody that he's been fighting will, except for Giovanni Romano. I think a caution would probably allow him to save enough fuel to make it to the end anyway. But he would jump everybody but Giovanni Romano here, being this high up on the running order.
Chris Hannigan looking to the inside of Tyler Augustino in the battle for 6th as we'll dive to the inside at the final chicane. Hannigan is through. Augustino trying to pick up the 7th spot and hang on against Jeremy Castro, who is still trying to charge up and find some more speed of his own as we work out a turn. I keep forgetting what corner number that is, but off the final corner across the front straightaway.
Yeah, it's kind of what I've been saying, over the hill, the final set of corners, final chicane. I have no idea what the corner
I know what the corner
so
number is for the full road course. That's what I keep trying to default to, not the shortened layout, though.
Well, I don't know any of it, so you're at least a little bit better prepared than I am. But Chris Hannigan makes the move stick on Augustino, able to take that position away, able to hold on to it through the S's. Now pulling away just a little bit there from Tyler. Just about has a half-second gap before they get to the back straightaway. Probably enough to defend the position without having to worry about a big dive bomb move from Augustino's. Ron Wolf's now in pit lane. That's going to be his last pit stop in the evening as well.
Okay, so they're still classified as turns 9 and 10, even though you cut out 6, 7, and 8 that are a part of the long road course. So I guess that makes sense. You got to be consistent with this whole thing. 3 wide up into turn 3 as Glenn, By, Verstappen, Freed, all under a blanket right now, and they are fighting for some of the first spots 1 lap down.
Yeah, Freed and Verstappen side by side for that P20 position. By not too far. Oh, Verstappen gets turned by Freed through the last sector of the racetrack. Now sliding, coming around to the back straightaway. Verstappen able to keep it straight, but that's going to be big from Freed and Verstappen, having to drop even further down the running order, down to 22nd and 23rd.
And it's that swing from the left to the right that keeps catching these guys out, because the whole point of that corner, you have to arc it way out wide and then diamond it off to get the best possible run onto the straightaway. And it's that fine line, right, of how far tracking out is too far tracking out. Brian LeBlanc is off. Brooks Clayton took an off-track excursion as well. We'll see what happened to Clayton here. As, he had some help. Or he helped. Yeah, he did have some help from Verstappen just behind. No full spin, though.
Yeah, able to keep it on, well, not keep it on the racetrack, but get it back on the racetrack straight. Now Verstappen under fire from being in there side by side. Verstappen off the racetrack once again on the exit of turn 1, trying to get it back on. Able to get all 4 tires back on the racing surface. Another tough break for Verstappen, falling down the running order.
Still up 3, though, from where he started this race way back in the 27th spot, but it's a far cry from the 12th place he was running. That's currently occupied by John Combs. And we'll have to hope that he can get a bit better. Oh, second place runner Austin Tucker way out wide, and that might cost him a bit of time, and he's going to take it to pit road. Caution is out, and Tucker might get a penalty now. Oh, that's a smart play right there, rejoining right back on the racing circuit. That was a smart call.
I didn't even know that was there.
It's a smart move. He would have gotten penalized if he had come down to pit road for pitting under closed pits.
Yeah, that was a very, very smart heads-up move there from
right
Austin
here. The caution
Tucker.
came out.
Yeah, I mean, he had no chance to get there. Great move.
I don't think you're committed yet either.
Track.
I think that's fair game on iRacing standards.
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, there's no. I mean, it's either that or get a penalty, right? So from entering a closed pit. So I feel like that's a great move from Austin Tucker to avoid that penalty and keep that P2 spot. I know that they're going to have to come down pit road, give up the track position to everybody that had come down already, you know, like Giovanni Romano, who I think can now make it with the caution period, and Chris Hannigan, who made his second pit stop already. He's going to lose a little bit of track position, but not too much.
Right, well, we are under caution for the first time tonight with 21 minutes to go. We'll take a step back. You're watching the Beer League and the Peach State Pony Pursuit on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV and to your running of the Peach State Pony Pursuit on Green Flag TV as we are getting set to go back to Green Flag Racing. Lights are out aboard the iRacing pace car, and it'll be into pit road this time by.
We've only got 15 minutes to go. Pretty doubtful that that second caution will come out. We'll only have a 5-minute chance, and actually that will be lowered because the caution just got extended by 1 lap. So we might only have about 3 or 3.5 minutes to actually make this thing happen for a second one, as we've got a stopped vehicle. I think that was Harrison way off the racetrack.
It was, yeah. I think they're trying to figure out some of the wave arounds at the moment. This is the second time or actually the third time they've extended this yellow flag already. They're trying to make sure everybody can be waved around and put up into racing contention here. So we'll try this again. But yeah, less than 15 minutes to go. This could be the threshold that a few drivers needed to try to push it. Eric Ronenberg did not pit under this caution flag. He last stopped at lap 21, relatively early compared to everybody else. And yet, I think we wonder if maybe he thinks he can make it on the rest of the run here. Now that said, Giovanni Romano, the driver that went the longest, he also came down the pit road, so he wasn't confident in his abilities to make it.
Yeah, Ronenberg has been clutching down this hill every lap, though, big time. I mean, you can see him catch the pace car there because he's not using any brake, not using any throttle, just coasting all the way down the hill. Even up the hill right here, he's not on the gas pedal until just now. So Ronenberg, he knows he's close, trying to save every little bit. You got to think that this caution getting extended by another lap is going to be absolutely massive for him because you can save so much gas down that hill.
We'll see how that's going to shake up as this field will work down the back stretch and into turn numbers 10A and 10B. Before we'll take it up and over the rise and down for turn 11.
It'd be funny if they delayed it again.
Have they?
I said it would be funny.
Oh, okay.
But no, we're good. We're good. We're good.
We're good now. We're good for now. All right. 13 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Eric Ronenberg will take us across to the green flag.
Didn't get a huge jump there on Hannigan. Hannigan still able to stay within the slipstream, but he doesn't really have the run. Ronenberg able to kind of get a little bit of a gap going before they get down to turn 1, but they're side by side for P3. Augustino and Wolf both side by side through the corner. It looks like Wolf's going to be able to, oh no, they're still side by side before they even get to the S's. This has not worked all night. We've seen so many issues through the S's back to back, but it looks like Wolf is just going to back out of it and allow Augustino to take the position.
Already entering the final quarter of this race, and only 3 more minutes if we're going to get that second caution flag. We've only had one so far. There is still the possibility, though, that we could get another. It'll depend, though, on how this race pans out. But so far, looking clean and green throughout this field. Single file as we work it down in towards turn 10. By far the cleanest restart I think we've had just about all season at this point.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty good driving standards. I think everybody was kind of a little upset with themselves from Daytona. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've seen plenty of incidents, but I mean, this is the beer league after all. You're going to get a little bit of that. But without the cautions to kind of slow everything down, it's been a really good race. A lot of hard-fought battles between all throughout the pack. Really tight racing throughout our race leaders here towards the middle portion of this race too, where we had 3 guys all within a second of each other fighting for that race lead. And now, even now, I mean, the race lead is only, it's really tiny, obviously, after that restart period, but everybody within the top, 6, I would probably say, has a decent fighting chance at this thing.
Working lap 37 as we dive back down the hill, where you're looking at Ron Wolf trying to keep it in front of Alex Cofford. Cofford, of course, having had some type of day over here at Road Atlanta so far. He has fought his way back up to 5th. He is now looking to be pressuring Ron Wolf for that number 4 spot. Look for the inside. He's going to commit to the inside. Fake, tuck back in line. Dove it down after all, but I think, maybe not. Wolf tracks wide. Lets Cofford through. And here comes Romano to pick up 5th.
Yeah, Romano's going to get that huge run around the outside. Actually clears Wolf before they even get to the corner. Wolf had to slow down a lot because of that side-by-side battle with Cofford. Moved Wolf down a couple positions. Cofford up to 4th. Romano up to 5th. I really just think that Romano is going to be stupid quick here the last 10 minutes of this race. He's got a really good opportunity here up into 5th. Only 3 seconds off the race lead. Keep your eye on Giovanni Romano here towards the end of this one.
now we're looking back at around 10th place here, as this is a train that has been getting ever tighter as this race has gone along in this final stint. Sorry, I just about fell off the back of my chair as we are trying to get ourselves sorted. Ethan Kahn stopped down at turn 3.
Tough break there from Kahn. Got kind of the break he needed to get waved around back onto the lead lap, be able to fight these guys, and unfortunately, to the exit of the S's, just loops that thing around on that right-hander and just could not recover. It was just a kind of lazy spin there to the outside wall, but Kameyer now holding on to that 10th place position as Combs pressuring Castro heavily there for 8th.
Up the road, Ronenberg under fire by Chris Hannigan once again as these drivers scrapping it out. Trouble for Greg Beckman. Stopped up and over the hill. And look what happened to the driver of the 42 car. I think this was lost ball by himself up over the rise. Sure was.
Yeah, the elevation change just might have caught him out after that kind of excursion he took over the hump there on the inside of the racetrack. I feel like that just kind of, that curve on the inside unsettled him going around the right-hander, and unfortunately just could not hold on to that thing. And I hate to mention, but Austin Tucker had fallen out of this race 4 laps ago. Oh, Castro gets loose. Just now rejoins from Tucker. Tough break from him, running good all night and having to, kind of get relegated back outside the top 30.
And with all that, 10 minutes on the clock. We are now under that threshold, and that is it. No more safety cars. It is a straight shot to the end. Kind of figured we'd only get the one when we had that one at 21 minutes. Kind of pan things out as we'll dive into the final corner. Todd Madole, Carlton, and L all packed up line astern as we dive it down into turn 1. Jason L, the STP machine, trying to get around the Reese's Puffs, and whoa, boy! Castro loose again on the turn 1 Kirby.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have to let Carlton through also, but did a really good job saving that forward. I mean, he should have been absolutely gone. Castro, great job there holding on to that vehicle, keeping 13th. Could have been a whole lot worse than it was. Got to give a big shout out to Todd Madole, though. I mean, Mac Verstappen going off the racetrack, but Todd Madole was in accident after accident and has picked up the pieces and somehow moved into the 11th place position. Great job there from Madole.
Verstappen had just followed Adam Joseph Mailhawk completely off the circuit as everybody else is working to just battle it out in these closing laps and the closing minutes. We will not be making it to lap 50. I don't think we will, at least. This should be about a 49-lap race. Tyler Carlton down and off. That is at the drift circuit in the final chicane.
Oh, and our P2 runners off the racetrack through the S's into the grass, able to get it back on the racetrack. Sorry, I know we were supposed to be paying attention to Carlton, but I thought Chris Hannigan was throwing his race away. Luckily for him, able to hold on to it and actually not lose a position. We see him just go a little wide on the exit of turn number 1. Has to completely cut turn 2 here, gets back on the racetrack without losing a spot. And the battle for that lead, man, the top 5 has kind of been inching together. Everybody from 5th on, or 2nd on to 5th has kind of been closing in our race leader, except for Hannigan there with that mistake. But you got to think if he can kind of right the ship and, not make another mistake, he might be able to make another run at this at Eric Ronenberg.
Crawford and Augustino running side by side as they're going to fire it up and over the top of the hill. And Giovanni Romano able to close in that little bit more as a result. Crawford still runs 3rd, Augustino 4th, Romano back in 5th. The top 5 all running line astern by 2 seconds on your screen.
Yeah, just super tight. Now Romano all over the back bumper of Tyler Augustino up towards the S's. Can Romano make a move here? This is not an opportune passing position. Going down into the S is just not the place to really do it. We've seen too many accidents. It's too risky at this point. He's just going to tuck in line as we see Cunningham off the racetrack there in the final corner. Able to get it back on track, but now the race for the lead. Chris Hannigan all over the back bumper of Eric Ronenberg.
Nathan Cunningham took it down into the club layout here, and he tried to make a run into the paddock and then turn back out. And that is why we saw him make a sudden stop on the racetrack. So I'm not sure what the logic behind that one was, but the rest of the field, with 6 minutes to go, up over the rise, and this battle for the lead is closing.
Just seemed like a good time to take the Joker lap, I suppose. But Ronenberg off the racetrack on the final corner, going to give the run to Hannigan, going down into turn number 1. Hannigan peeks his nose down into the inside. Ronenberg has to leave the space into turn 1. But hey, oh man, Hannigan hip checks him through the exit of the corner, sends him through the grass. Ronenberg's going to drop positions as Hannigan's still side by side for the race lead, but Crawford backs out.
Alex Crawford backs out. Ronenberg only falls down to 3rd. Now it's up to the Fuddruckers Mustang to try to get around the Sonic Burgers machine as we dive it down the hill. Crawford on a much better line. Hannigan all over the shot, trying to keep it in the groove. He's now going to break it out sideways. Crawford around the outside, and now Hannigan slipping wide, trying to cut him off.
Hannigan got loose through the middle section of that corner. I mean, it's a long sweeping corner. Got loose, killed the momentum. Now Crawford to the outside into the final chicane. Can Hannigan hold on to the race lead for now, or will he have to give it up? Crawford tries for the switchback. Coming through the exit of the final corner over the hill. Looks like Hannigan's going to be able to hold on for now, but Crawford, he's just licking his chops. He's going to have another chance here in a lap or 2.
That was intense for sure, but now we'll see what Crawford can do on the big offensive game. As he'll try to close up to the back bumper of that number 4. He's got Eric Ronenberg, Tyler Augustino, and don't forget Giovanni Romano still on the wings, Hannigan loose, and he's able to save it that time through. Matt Glenn, having had a spin somewhere on the racetrack, we'll take a look at what happened. This is into that final chicane, with the number 74 now runs down to 20th because of this incident. And as we've seen so many times, just loops back in, and whoa boy, nearly got run over there.
Oh, Hannigan is so loose through the right-hander. I mean, he's killed his momentum 2 laps in a row. Now Crawford, second verse, same as the first on the outside of Hannigan, going down into the chicane. Actually tucks back in line. He's trying to get that inside line. Hannigan doesn't really give it to him. Just holds the middle of the racetrack, able to hold on to the position for now. But if he keeps making mistakes like that, Crawford's going to get by.
4 minutes to go. Now lap traffic is in the way. That's a car that's already been lapped before. That is Harrison. Just one of these guys in the Chicken Runners machine. Hannigan pulls to the right. Crawford trying to dive it in with him, and there'll still be nose and tail to turn 1, and again! Hannigan off the road. Crawford to the point. Or is he? Hannigan fights back. Doors him down into turn 3.
Oh, that was aggressive from Hannigan coming back on the racetrack, but Crawford able to hold on to it even with the door contact. Now he's got a pretty healthy lead. It's over a second over Eric Ronenberg. Now Hannigan all the way back to P4 as Augustino gets by him as well.
Take a look on board. Watch this. He's going to go full send here into turn 3. Tried to slow it down and just couldn't get there. That may very well give Crawford the gap he needs to maintain for the lead and the win.
Yeah, but can Ronenberg run him down? He's only a second back. That's not, that's not unmanageable. Augustino, though, from P3 off the racetrack, going to give the chance to Chris Hannigan to get that spot back, get back on the podium, or can Giovanni Romano follow him through? Hannigan with the run through the last corner in the draft, not quite able to do it. He's going to have to go defensive on Giovanni Romano for P4 instead. Tries to dive it in under Augustino, able to get there, and just drives through for the position. Hannigan, if he had done that in the lap before, he would have been sailing pretty in the race lead. Unfortunately, 1 lap too late. Hits the perfect turn 1 to take back P3.
Jordan Babcock stopped off track at turn 1 into the sand trap. We'll keep eyes on this fight, though, as he's just been sitting there for the last little while. As this battle will continue. 2 minutes, and it'll be 2 laps to go when we get back around to start finish. So if you want to make a move, now would be the time to do it. We got contact behind between Tom Madole and Tyler Carlton. DeVries has gone around at some point in this mess, as Jay DeVries is starting to slip further back as well. There's a lot of mayhem still to be decided. Jason L. takes an off-ride excursion while trying to fend off the Applejacks machine.
Oh, and our second place runner, accident. Big heavy contact into the outside wall.
That was Darren By that got hooked in there by Tyler Carlton. They went 3 wide, and that wasn't going to work.
Sorry, I was pointing out our second place runner of Ronenberg did not save enough fuel under that caution period. Unfortunate for him, he had to come down pit road. It was going to be close, but he was 2 minutes shy. Was not able to get to the finish. Unfortunate there for Ronenberg, having to drop way, way, way down the order.
Still got a few drivers looking to duke it out in the meantime. Jason L breaking around Ronenberg. Ronenberg fresh out of the pits, trying to see if he can't regain at least a 13th spot or whatever he can muster. As here is the fight for second now, as Cofford has broken out 4 seconds into the lead with that.
Yeah, Crawford has absolutely disappeared from Hannigan. Augustino's nowhere close. Romano not even in the picture. Alex Crawford has run away with this one here at the end.
Lap 48 will be the last one. White flag is waving. Giovanni Romano to the inside of Augustino. Couldn't get enough of a run and make the dive down into turn 1, but he certainly thought about it. Still trying to make a drive for third in the meantime, as he'll try to work up and over the hill to 3.
Through the S's, Romano trying to get back on the podium, trying to take it away from Tyler Augustino. Can he do it? Can he get the run down the back straightaway? Oh, Mac Verstappen out of nowhere, back onto the racetrack. I thought he was going to insert himself into the P3 battle. Luckily for the guys running for the position, not quite coming to be, but it looks like Romano's going to try to get that run coming through the long sweeping right-hander onto the back straightaway, all over the back bumper of Augustino for third.
It's going to be a big dive here down into that final corner. Meanwhile, the white flag is out. Clock has expired. Romano tried for it, couldn't get there as Augustino hangs on. Meanwhile, Alex Crawford takes pit strategy to send the Fuddruckers Mustang through into victory lane as he embeds it in the wall.
Hannigan will be upset, but you got to think he's still happy with P2 at the end of the day. Finishes 2 positions ahead of our championship leader, but he did throw the race win there at the end.
Don't speak too soon, because Crawford did jump across that final corner. I don't know if he got a slowdown penalty. If he did, we're not going to see that until we look at the results page. Because if he got a slowdown penalty, there's no way he serves that in time.
Oh my goodness. He's totally going to get that.
So
he cut the heck out of it. I mean, he was completely off the curb.
Well, let's take a look at that final lap again, and that'll really kind of be the telling tale. This is on board with Crawford. This is going to be working into that final corner. And you're going to have to watch closely here, because this, I don't know, this could be a huge upset. Hannigan may very well still take the win at the end of the afternoon. As Crawford goes with this almighty lunge, watch that line right there. Is that enough for a slowdown penalty? That's a huge question mark. We do have the official results, so we'll take a rundown of how the results finish on out tonight. It was not. Alex Crawford is your official winner at the end of the main event by 4.8 seconds. And he will take that one over the likes of Chris Hannigan in second. Tyler Augustino was in third with Giovanni Romano in fourth. Ron Wolf was fifth with John Combs in sixth. Jeremy Castro seventh. Bright was eighth. Alan Kameyer and Brian LeBlanc round out the top 10.
11th was Brooks Clayton. Jason L. comes home 12th. Eric Cronenberg, late pit stop 13th. Gabriel Acelian 14th. 15th was Matt Glenn. 16th, Adam Mailhot. 17th was Tyler Carlton. 18th, Jada Breeze. 19th, Todd Madole. And rounding out your top 20, Corey Barrett.
That brings Josh Friedholm in 21st. Greg Becker was 22nd. Darren Bine 23rd. Tyler Vietnam, Bear Moore to the last 2 cars on the lead lap. Matt Verstappen finishes this race 1 lap down, along with Ethan Kahn, Evan Campbell, Nathan Cookingham, and Tanner Klein.
31st was Jordan Babcock. Austin Tucker settling for 32nd. 33rd, Alex Harrison. 34th, Carson Catlin. 35th, Adam Klein. And 36th, Blake Gambrell. And rounding out your 37-car field is Graham Jordan.
And that will then do it here tonight from Racing Action in the Peach State Pony Pursuit from Brazelton, Georgia in Road Atlanta. We'll get the chance now to talk to everybody at the end of what ended up being a fairly wild race at the end of the night. And, of course, we'll kick things off first and foremost with the likes of Alex Crawford, the driver that was able to come home in this race and take up the win, as we'll see if we can't get in touch with your winner at the end of what was, again, a fairly wild night of racing action. The 19 car joins us up now trackside in victory lane. And, well, Alex, you're able to come home. You sweep through. You take the win. I was a bit worried, though, when I saw you cutting across that final corner there coming to the checkered flag.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, I didn't expect to impale the wall, and I definitely was like, Okay, I got to censor myself. Oh darn, golly gee willikers, I lost this race, and then my spotter was like, "Oh, you won, good job, put it on the trailer." I was like, "Hey."
Well, you come home, it was looking to be a strategy game. You opted to pit way earlier than everybody else, along with one other driver. I believe it was one of the cannabis cars. What contributed to that early pit stop there that saw you with at least an early 3-second lead?
Yeah, especially a track where there's minute length. Pitting when you're in clean air is a terrible idea, and pitting when there's traffic's a great idea. And so I saw a group of, I mean, it was a big group, 6, 7 cars that were a lap down that were ahead of the lead pack. And you lose so much time passing people, even if they help facilitate it. That it's a no brainer. So just finding the right time, but at the same time, maybe you get sent out at a bad time. So it is a little bit of a risk, but it's definitely a risk worth taking when it's that big of a pack that you're trying to work your way through.
With this race win, you're going to be able to reel in the gap towards Tyler Carlton and get ever closer to the top 10 in the points. Do you reckon you'll be able to keep the momentum rolling forward and try to get yet another race win under the notch of the Fuddruckers machine into race 11?
I think, man, with the kid, my job, uh, being here is just like a privilege. I can't ever guarantee it. So if I'm here, I think I'm a favorite to win pretty much every race in the Mustang. It's just something that I jam with. And so yeah, if I can be here, I'm going to challenge him and everyone else every race. If not, then I just nothing I can do about it. But they've all done a good season, so they deserve it, showing up and finishing well.
Well, we will wish you the best of luck then when we go racing, wherever that may happen to be, either next week or hopefully, if we don't see you next week, then at least at the season finale. Thanks for joining us up here tonight. Congratulations on the race win from Brazelton.
Thank you, guys. Love the broadcast, and look forward to watching it every week. It's just a fantastic product you guys put on.
That was Alex Coffer joining us up here in the broadcast booth from Victory Lane. We'll move things out down to the driver that started on the pole, but it was not meant to be in Victory Lane this time about. Chris Hannigan joins us now, standing by with Austin.
Chris, first last week, starts on the pole today and finishes second place. But I got to ask, are you kind of playing turn one back in your mind whenever you lost the lead, thinking about maybe what you could have done different?
Always, man. Struggling. I had no tires. I was struggling so bad. I was holding on for like the last 10 minutes of that race. I felt like I was driving so hard and probably overdriving the car, but sliding all over the place. And yeah, turn one was probably the hardest corner on the track to get right, especially with all the other cars around and trying to defend and all that stuff. But yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But hey, P2 is cool. We'll take it. Trying to make up for the first bad half of the season.
So last week you picked up 3 spots in the points, solidified yourself as a championship threat, given that I believe at the start of this race you were only 25 points behind. Now finishing 2 positions ahead of Giovanni Romano, that championship leader. You're kind of closing that gap a little bit more. How are you feeling about the championship coming down to the final 2 races? Do you think it's something you got a good shot at? Or are you still kind of looking at that rearview mirror and looking at Romano thinking, man, that might be the guy?
Romano's always the guy, man. He's always fast. He's always up there. Any chance you get to finish ahead of him feels like a win. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do. You got to do what you got to do. And I feel like I had some bad luck in kind of the middle part of the season. Didn't really get the finishes where I felt like I needed to be. And it's starting to come around. I'm trying to drive a little bit calmer and smoother and not slide it around as much and do all that stuff and just trying to get to the end. And tonight was an example of that. I could have done a lot worse than what I did, but had some good overtakes and some good moves, and just if it works out, it works out. If not, Gio deserves the win. I mean, he's quick for sure. So I like to beat him though. I think we all would.
I feel like you would always like to beat everybody. I mean, you gotta finish up front. If you gotta have the chance at the championship, you gotta finish them. You gotta beat them. But going forward, what do you think your chances are against them?
Well, I mean, it depends on where we are, man. Like this track felt pretty competitive, for me. Some of the other tracks, he's faster. Just depends on what the wheel rolls at us, man. Hopefully sorry, I drank too much tonight. Hopefully Le Mans Historic rolls up and, we can have a nice race at a track like that. But I mean, I think we've had a lot of mixed variety tracks, just tons of variety and honestly, beer league, man, you take it week to week, and you do what you can. And I'm gonna try to go after him. I am. I might have to put a bumper to him at some point. We'll see.
putting the hands of luck, or sorry, putting the luck in the hands of the wheel going forward. Either way, congratulations, back-to-back weeks on the podium. Top step last week, second step this week. Hopefully we can make it 3 in a row next week.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
That was our second place finisher, Chris Hannigan. Now Nolan's going to take over interviewing P3 of Tyler Augustino.
Tyler Augustino will be joining us up here next, the driver that finishes this one down in the number 3 spot. And Tyler, boy, it was a wild race in the closing stages there. You had a front row seat to Alex Cofford and Chris Hannigan's grudge match. What was it like being able to kind of sweep through and take up an easy podium with all the chaos there?
I mean, I wouldn't call that podium easy. I was mostly concerned about having Gio in my mirrors for most of the time there, but I was just happy to have a decent recovery drive. I got myself into a couple of early incidents on the first couple of laps and put me on the one-stop strategy just to try to recover my race. So I was just happy to be where I was.
Obviously, the safety car in the middle of the race threw some wrenches into the works on a few people. It came out at a point where a lot of drivers, I think, were wondering if you'd be able to make it or not. Ronenberg obviously thought he could, ended up he couldn't. What was going to be the game plan for you when that safety car flew with 20 minutes to go?
I was thinking I've got a couple of drop weeks in the season-long schedule, and I could take a big risk on this race and hope it paid off for me. And, I ended up running out of fuel at about turn 5 on the cool-down lap, so I think had we, gotten our act together and not extended the caution, it might have gone a little bit differently. But it was definitely a big risk, and I knew that at the time. But I felt like it was one that I just needed to take.
We look forward to the races going forward. There is now just 2 left on the calendar. We still don't know where those races are going to be taking place, but we do know they are going to be some wild races to be sure. Looking forward, where can we expect to see that number 69 car before season's end?
As long as it's not another oval track, hopefully towards the sharp end. But I didn't do too well in the super speedway, so we still got the Charlotte Oval on the wheel as far as I know. Hoping against that, hoping for something more like Summit. That's more my speed. But yeah, we'll wait and see.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much for joining us up here tonight, Tyler. Congratulations once again on the 3rd place finish. We wish you the best of luck wherever we may happen to be 1 week from now.
Thank you guys so much.
That was Tyler Augustino joining us up here from 3rd place, and that is once again going to do it tonight. What a great race we've had. I have to say, after last week, tonight was definitely refreshing. You was able to see all these big battles coming to fruition and see who was truly the best of the best. And Alex Cofford once again driving from near the back all the way up to the front. And I think Tyler Augustino is still very much within a shout here to try to take that points lead away with the 2 weeks remaining.
Yeah, we got a really good championship battle. All 3 of our top 3 in the points finished in the top 4 here tonight. So I'm just looking forward to the last 2 races, and especially after getting the Daytona Super Speedway out of the way, come back to the road course. I don't know if it was just that this race was so good or I was so happy we weren't at Daytona anymore, but it just felt so good. The entire race was action-packed, a lot of stuff going on throughout the field everywhere, and hard battling for the race win there at the end. So that's about all you can ask for from a race here on iRacing.
Coming on up tomorrow night, the Speed Cup Series will have its championship finale. 5 drivers will enter Avondale, Arizona, and only one of them will leave the duel in the desert as a Speed Cup Series champion for their inaugural racing season. And then on Friday, the LTAC All-Street Media Cup Series will return when they swing to the 2-mile behemoth that is the Michigan International Speedway. If you want to get your league broadcasted on Green Flag TV, be sure to check us out at www.greenflagtv.com for pricing and find out who we are and what we're all about. We'd be more than happy to take you on as we continue to expand our roster. For now, thank you so much for joining us here on Green Flag TV. My name has been Nolan Rempel. You've been watching the Beer League. We'll see you all next time when we go racing with 2 races left on the schedule.